Interment will be at Mount Hope Cemetery. The family will gather for Shiva at 8 Forestwood Lane today from 4 to 7 and tomorrow, Wednesday, from 4 to 7. If you further wish to honor the memory of Leba LuKacher, you may do so by making donations to the Lollipop Farm in Fairport, Temple Bethel, or the charity of your choice.
In Judaism, when someone dies, there's very few things that have to be said. Every person's life is different and everyone is remembered differently. In spite of that, there are some psalms and some prayers that are typical to do at a funeral, and we will do those today. The first one is Psalm 23. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai ro'i lo echsar, b'nodeshe yarbitzeni, al mei menuchot yinhaleni. Nafshi yeshovev, yancheni b'magle tzedek leman shalom. Gam ki elech beged salmavet lo irara, ki ata imedi. Shiftecha umishantecha hema yenachamoni. Ta'aroch lefanai shulchan neged sararai, dishanta b'shemen roshi, kosi revaya. Ach tov v'chesed yirdefuni kol yemei chayai, v'shafti b'veit Adonai le'orech yamim. A Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. God makes me to lie down in green pastures. God leads me beside the still waters. God restores my soul. God guides me in straight paths for God's name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my foes. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
It is now my honor to call upon Ken LuKacher to speak on behalf of the family.
Can everyone hear me? I prepared something. I tried not to make it too long. I'll do this. I prepared something to say, but I'm going to try not to be too long. But the first thing I want to say, it's hard to be sad. Seeing all of you here today makes me so glad. Can you hear me now? Super. It's wonderful to see all of you. Many I don't know personally, you're friends of my son, so that's just wonderful. I'm going to have some trouble getting through this, so please bear with me. Leba and I found each other at a JCC singles event about 31 years ago. September 1994. Looking back, I knew Leba was special, so engaging, very attractive, the most beautiful long curly hair, and a great listener. The story as she told of our first meeting each other that night is that I bumped into her and asked. She was with a girl who was just standing right off beside her, and she laughed. No, I'm not with her. And then we introduced ourselves, and we quickly found that we had so much in common over music, dancing, especially disco, where our parents were from, that my being a lawyer was a plus, as two of her brothers are lawyers, and that Leba said over several times that she was so comfortable being with me because I reminded her of one of her brothers. I only later found out that happened to be Cliff. We bonded right there, and we fell in love in just a few days. In 1996, I proposed at Powder Mill Inn restaurant, and she knew the proposal was coming. as the restaurant was too high-end for our typical fare, and I was very nervous. Fortunately for me, she accepted, and everyone clapped at the restaurant. It was a great night, I remember. We were very happy. We married in this sanctuary in June of 1997, luckily with both our parents present. In order to marry her, I had to make a side contract, which was that we had to get a dog right away, as she loved dogs. But I did not like dogs at that time. So I had to overcome my fears, and we got a dog. A yellow Labrador Retriever we named Simcha, to join her 2 cats that she had at her apartment, which were Smokey and Magic. And we all lived in a very small home in Head-Ready, New York. Some of you visited over the years. We later moved to Pittsburgh when Ben was 4. I was severely allergic to cats, but did not tell her how much about that, because I didn't want that to be an issue. They lived in the basement because of that for about 6 weeks, and then the screaming was just so loud that we had to let them upstairs, and I bore the suffering. But that was just how I just wanted to be. I wanted to make her happy, and if having the cats there made her happy, so be it. I will just deal with it, with allergy medicine that never worked, and hives, and sleepless nights. But the cats are old, so I said it was time limited. I can deal with it. And we did. Now the dog was another thing. I was scared of dogs. I did not like them. I thought they were going to bite me. So what did we do? The dog trainer we used had me lay on top of Simcha every night for seven days for 15 minutes to settle who was the alpha dog in the house. Of course, Leba was, but I moved up in rank. It worked, and the dog became mostly obedient, and I grew very fond of that dog. And we had the best time taking her for long walks in the park. That was Ellison Park at the time. And playing stick. If you remember, Simple just loved that stick. We had loved watching her catch and jump into the stream. It was something we did. I didn't like dogs at the time. And then it just turned out that became part of our lives, this dog, which set us up to say, hey, if we can live with the dog, we can do anything, I guess. All of us slept together, which was a challenge in a queen-size bed and our relative sizes. But Leba wanted it, so it was okay by me, as making her happy has always been my goal. She made me so happy. Her biggest compromise was us joining this conservative temple, as she always went to the Reformed temple a few miles away from here. But she did that to make me happy, and also my parents happy, for those who know Maria Gloria. To compromise, we split high holiday services between the 2 temples every year, and it worked, as we both loved the spirituality of our faith. When we started living together, she even changed to being kosher like me, which was quite an adjustment for her. By the way, as many of you might know, she was lucky. So lucky. Let me explain. When we were younger, we frequented casinos and racinos because they started opening up around here. And we had some disposable income back then. And Leba would sit down at a slot machine, and while everyone else was losing at all of the other slot machines around her, including me, she won. And often. Several so large the casinos had to issue a check, and because it was outside the machine payout limit. But she never gloated. She just kept that Leba smile on her face as the machine just kept making jackpot sounds, which usually lasted about 10 minutes. I was more excited than her, jumping up and down from her big win, saying, to print the ticket, it's time to cash out and leave. As those who know me, don't want to spend money if I could save money. But she decided when it was time to go, not me, as making her happy has always been my goal. Our son Benjamin, born in 2000, was a blessing God gave to Leba and me. She loved being a mom and was very protective of him. She and I are so proud of him and the accomplishments so far in his life. I only wish that Leba would have had the chance to see him find love, reach the wedding chuppah, see him be a great dad, and hopefully a grandma. No pressure, Ben. Ben meant the world to her, and she hoped only the best for him. As time went on, we had one dog after another. And lastly, she wanted a slower, easy, less active dog, so she picked a basset hound and named her Mandy. She likes Barry Manilow, those who know the song. Like all of her dogs and cats, not Mandy, now at age 12, was a comfort to her and quite humorous to watch. As the years passed, she was dealing with more pain, requiring use of a wheelchair. For distances, she felt it was too much to bear. But that didn't stop her. We did so much. We traveled to Disney World with Ben, multiple trips to Florida to see her parents, Las Vegas, trips every summer when Ben was in camp or on one of his USY travel groups. But she never let the pain stop her from doing what she wanted. And we were so happy. I mean, later, the pandemic hit, and that's when all the bad stuff started happening. Multiple trips to hospitals and long rehab stays to strengthen her legs, but again, she fought. And I did my best to care for her. I will not go into details about her health battles, only that she endured, and I beside her hoping for elusive better outcomes with her doctors. I always thought we would grow old together like our parents. I am so distraught that I will never hold her again in my arms, see her laugh, her smile, feel her caress, and look into her caring eyes. I am simply devastated losing her. But I've found comfort in friends and family, and especially my son Ben, who I've had to lean on, helping me handle the pain in losing Leba, his mom. I miss her so much and hope that she is happy wherever she is, talking with her dad and her brother Gil, who already passed on, playing with Simcha and all of her other pets that have passed. Again, I want to thank you all for coming today, and she would be so happy to see that you came.
Thank you, Ken, for a heartfelt husband-to-wife speech. We now call upon Ben, Leba's son, to speak.
Thank you, all of you, for being here. It means a lot to me. You guys know probably I'm not much of a talker, so I'll keep this short and sweet. I'm going to try and keep it together, but bear with me. So, my mom was a woman of balance. She was a great listener, but she also gave incredible advice. She was funny, but had a serious side when it mattered most. Her friends and family would all agree she was strong, but caring at every turn. Positive, but still down to earth. And most of all, she knew who she was, but she was never selfish. As an only child, she really only had one shot with me. I might be biased, but I think most people would say she did a pretty darn good job. But she used to tell me I was the best thing that ever happened to her, which is a lot of pressure, if you can imagine. But the truth is, no matter what I did, she was proud. She was always by my side, no matter what was happening. And I really don't think I fully understood her love in the way that she taught me until college. My parents dropped me off, and of course, the worrying on their side never stopped. But they let me go, and I did my thing. At least I tried to. And that's when I started to realize this is why she said the things she did, and this is why she did the things she did. When I was in elementary and middle school, she wouldn't let me leave until she had combed my hair every morning. I hated it, but guess who started combing their hair every single day? Middle school, high school, college, and even now. You might not realize it, but I'm trying to look presentable. And she used to tell me that I have to wear a winter coat when it was cold out. It just didn't make any sense to me. I was like, it's not that bad, it's not too cold. And I'd say, why? Why do you make me wear a winter coat? And she would say, I said so, I'm your mother. And I didn't think that was a good enough reason. I kept trying to say, hey, let's reason this out. We have a family of lawyers. Let's figure out why I actually need to wear this. But when I got to college and I thought to try things out myself, I started getting sick a lot, pretty easily. So I thought maybe she's onto something. I started to come to that realization. But even in those small moments, she was teaching me how to care for myself. She knew she couldn't always protect me by her own doing. She would do whatever she could to put me in the best position to succeed, but always in her own way. Never in harshness or anger, but with care and admiration. And when I see kids making bad decisions, I think, I wonder what their moms are like. Maybe I just got lucky. But the truth is, it wasn't luck. It was her. She shaped me into who I am. And if there's one thing I know for certain, it's that I made her proud because she told me. And if there's one thing she should know, it's that I'm proud of her. Proud of the life she lived, and proud of her for never giving up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben, for a wonderful tribute to your beloved mother. You're a great son, and I'll say a couple of words about you as well here in the eulogy for your mother. We gather this afternoon to bid farewell to someone who will be missed in her family, community, and the group of friends that are here present. And I believe that our feelings are best expressed by this very short but poignant poem that's called The Measure of a Human Being. Not how did she die, but how did she live? Not what did she gain, but what she give. These are the units to measure the worth of a woman regardless of birth. Not what was her station, but had she a heart? And how did she play his God-given part? Was she ready with the word of a good cheer to bring back a smile, to banish a tear? Not what was her shrine, nor what was her creed, but had she befriended those really in need? Not what the sketch of a newspaper say, but how many were sorry that she passed away. By these standards, we may measure the life of a person, and in the passing of Leba, we have all suffered a significant loss. COVID was what Leba had, and couldn't shake it off this time. She had started using supplementary oxygen back in December of 19, probably due to COVID. She experienced breathing and walking problems, but each time, in each episode, she was able to recover, to get the right help, but not this time. And Ken, you were always at her side. She was born in the Bronx. She had a very happy childhood, a loving family. Even back then, she loved dogs and animals. And growing up with 3 brothers, she was the middle child. Now, I'd had to figure out, how can you be the middle child with 4 siblings? But I got it. She was number 3, middle of some sort. And as a girl, she received special treatment. Nevertheless, she had to face several health issues as she grew up. She recovered from them well. In third grade, the family moved to Westchester. She attended Albany University and earned a degree in sociology. She worked various jobs, including at a pharmacy. And she had wonderful friends all around. And it's through those friends that she was able to get to Henrietta, to move to a wonderful job at Excellus, which she did very well. You can say that she excelled at Excellus. And she started working out and meeting friends and going to this wonderful occasion at the JCC when Leba and Ken met at a singles gathering. The night was meant to get to know, to dance, but you decided to walk and to talk. And you enjoy each other's company tremendously. From that moment on, you got together. You went to places until June 1997, here in the sanctuary, not with the rabbis of Bethel, but rather Rabbi Gruber from TBK officiating. And she attended services with that rabbi and became very spiritual, to the point that she considered to become a rabbi herself. That spiritual connection that she got with Judaism was transferred to the friends and transferred to you, Ken, in your incredible, great, deep relationship that you had as a husband and wife. You mentioned the whole family was here on June of '97. The honeymoon was in Aruba. And you began building your own home, first in Henrietta and then in Pittsburgh, at the time that Ben was, 4 years old, around. And that was, from all the animals, Ben, that were expressed here, you were the best addition to this family. I want to make sure that you were a great kid in Hebrew school, fantastic bar mitzvah, your sense of humor and your charisma and your love for your parents and grandparents. Let's not forget that. They were a big part of your life. And you are a wonderful young man. Leba and Ken were very talkative that night and continue to be talkative the rest of their lives. If you go to their homes, you will be yakking and talking and discussing all the time. Leba was a kind person. She also had a great sense of humor. She could talk to anybody because she was concerned about us. She was concerned about people, her parents, her family, and people that she met, her neighbors, the people she encountered, friends and cousins. She would like to be remembered first as a loving mother and wife. She did her best in life given her limitations. She struggled with her limitations, but she always wanted to do more. And though she was bound to this wheelchair, she made an effort when he got to the restaurant to get up and use her legs and get to that point. She felt she was not doing enough for others. That's how her illness had taken away her love for people because she couldn't serve us and be more attentive. She loved her family very much, as we said. She was dedicated, attentive, as we heard from Ben. She felt terribly sad at the passing of her brother, Gil, and seeing her mother go deep in this terrible pain of losing a child. Now, of course, we are concerned because she has lost 2 children. Lena is predeceased by her father, Sidney, brother Gilbert. They survived by her husband Ken, son Benjamin, mother Shirley, and brothers Cliff, Jamie, Neil, and Amy, nieces Isabel and Madeline, nephew Joshua, and many cousins and family, and a community of friends. Leba will be remembered as a loving mother and wife. She truly loved her family and friends. She loved all creatures. And she was, as mentioned on the passing, but I think it's so important, especially for a son and a husband, she was a great listener. She understood that to have a dialogue with someone, we required to remain silent, to listen to the other person's talk. And I think that created a tremendous connection with her. In so many ways, she was ahead of her time, for she matched not only the ancient ideal of a woman of valor, of an Eshet Chayil, but the contemporary one as well. As we remember in the closing words of the Eshet Chayil, we read, "Place before her the fruit of her hands. Wherever people gather, her deeds speak her praise." The many deeds of goodness that Leba performed will outlive her earthly existence and continue to inspire all who knew her and all who love her. Yes, Ben will think of her when he gets married. Ken will also be to his side and witness that and think of Leba. There are many occasions in which we will remember her. And that is why we may close with the words of our tradition, Zichrona Livracha, that our memories of Lina, Fincha, Chana, Bat, Shmuel, Vesara, will continue to be a source of blessing. When we come to shul, when we gather at home, in every instance, that will remind her of her kind spirit and very big heart. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May she rest in peace. And let us say all together, Amen. Kindly rise for the memorial prayer.
El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Amtze Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, B'malot Kedoshim, Utorim, Kezohar Harakia Mazirim, Et Nishmat, Leba Fincha, Chana Bas Shmuel Vesara, Shalcha L'Olama, Began Eden Te Menuchata, Ana Bal Harachamim, Hastirei HaBeseter Knefecha Leolamim, Utzror B'tzorachayim Nishmata, Adonai Hu Nachalata, V'tanuach B'shalom Al Mishkava, V'nomar, Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure, to the soul of Leba Fincha Chana Bas Shmuel Vesara, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bonds of life. May she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.